Life Audio.
Today on Talk About That, John ponders how many pics of his kid is too many and vigorously defends coconut. Meanwhile, I reveal what all rock band photos have in common and find out the terrible original name for the Girl Scouts. Plus a conversation about the Sermon on the Mount and why it's needed now more than ever. Today's episode is not sponsored by Restaurant To-Go boxes. Let the other half of your meal rot in your very own fridge. But first, a word from our actual sponsor.
Pull up a chair, turn up the radio, guys. It's Talk About That. I'm John here with Johnny.
It's not the radio. They're on their devices.
They might have an app for a podcast on their
Do you think those
Bluetooth
other...
device.
Remember the MP3 player market had like a... There was a lot of those knockoffs trying to be iPods. Are all those just gone now?
Yeah.
Like I had like a Sansa flash player.
What was the big thing?
It was a Zune.
Zune.
That was the
That was what it was.
Microsoft.
Yes, Gomez had a Zune, and he was always like, Zunes are so much better. We were like, no.
Yeah. Superior, the Zune store.
Yeah.
You mean the Apple store?
Yeah.
Because...
No, it does not work. No, I don't. You know what I found doing the office today? I found a actual Walkman.
Yeah.
I have an actual Walkman.
Wait, was it... so is it a disc Walkman? A Discman?
No, a cassette.
What?
Yeah, I have a cassette Walkman. I kept it. I also kept my original laptop from it was already used when I bought it in 2001.
Yeah.
Like it's
There's a video somewhere. There are these videos where they ask like kids from today's generation, not kids, but like even like teenagers, like Sadie's age, and they go, "If I'm going to say what this is, and you tell me what you think it is." And somebody said Walkman, and the kid did not know what it was. They go, "Is it like a device that helps you walk?"
Yeah. Well, why would they know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Walkman.
Yeah.
Gary Goldman had a great bit. Comedian Gary Goldman had a great bit about the Discman. He goes, I had a Discman. And he goes, gigantic. The size of he was just talking about how great it was. But he goes, if you don't remember them, he goes, it was the size of a manhole cover. He goes, and you could play. He goes, anti-shock. He could say all the features of it. And he goes, and my favorite feature of all, random. When you hit random, you didn't know what in the Sam Hill was coming next. What one of 10 songs was going to... It's just such a funny, it is. It's like we were like, ooh, random, let's spice it up. But it's 10 songs.
It's 10 songs, right? Yeah, when you do shuffle now, it's like you're shuffling 10,000 songs.
Yeah, you're shuffling your life.
Right.
I mean, it could be a track from your audiobook.
It is
Which that would happen on the old iPods where you'd be like, listen to it, you're jogging, and all of a sudden it's like, today, this week in World War II, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm amazed at the number of digital files now. The digital footprint is large. Like I did a search in my Google Photos because you can search by names.
Right.
I can tell you, in fact, right now.
No, John, what are we doing?
I want to know.
A live exercise?
I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm up here.
How many photos of me
How many photos of Johnny Wethington are up here? Was it tell me how many? Oh.
You're stalking me, dude.
It doesn't give me
it's too many.
Doesn't give me a... Look at this. Look, I'm still scrolling, people. Whew. This is all Jonnie W. And Johnny, okay.
And these are all printed out in a shrine in your home, too,
Only
right?
if you're watching right now on YouTube can you see that I'm still scrolling. This is all Jonnie W. All the way back to 04.
Do you light candles and look at these sometimes?
I want you to check that one out, Johnny.
Oh, that's actually not bad.
That's a pretty cool shot right there. I think that's going to make to the photo wall.
That's my police line strap.
Yeah.
That was my counterculture. Look at me. I got the funny strap on my guitar.
And it's cool because there's a big screen behind us with us on that screen, too.
It's a screen within a screen.
A screen within a screen. And then behind there is actually a screen with the screen. Okay. But yeah, I mean, so when I looked at my daughter, it said 20,000 photos.
Yeah.
20,000. And I just imported a bunch more. So, and my songs, there's no telling. But think of how many files. And that's why, Johnny, if it all goes away, whew.
Right. But I mean, you have the memories.
In my head, you mean?
Yeah.
Or like on my hard drive?
No, I mean in your brain.
No,
John.
I don't have those anymore.
Oh,
that's
you
why,
don't?
Yeah.
But I mean, the stuff that you're supposed to remember, you have. Because our families didn't have this. We had like a book.
Yeah.
With like the peel back the cellophane.
Right.
Little pockets.
Yeah.
And that was like, you made the book.
Yeah.
Every now and again you go, look, there's the Disney trip. Remember, look how happy you were. So why are you being so sad now?
It does feel like...
I always thought that's how, by the way, shadow boxing and what is it called? Scrapbooking.
Shadowboxing is something different than making shadowboxes.
Well, no, yes, true. Shadowboxing is like, your parents gearing up to fight you. No, but shadowboxing and scrapbooking and all that, I used to have a bit about that early on in my career about like how it's just parents developing an evidence log so they can use it against their kids. Because they're like, why are you so upset? And they go to the book.
Look when you were happy.
Yeah. See, I had to work 3 jobs. It's an evidence log of parental goodness.
I do think there's so many photos now.
Yeah.
Like, is it so many we just don't delve into it? Because how are you going to find what, like, I don't know. It's been interesting.
Like, if you have 20,000 photos, you may as well have no photos. That would be the argument.
Right.
It's like if you have 3 quarterbacks on your team, you have no quarterbacks. That's what the old adage of college football is, to take it to a place where very few of our listeners will understand. But if
Why do you act like our listeners can't understand college football?
If you have 20,000, but I never really understood that saying either, because I was like, if you give me 2 quarterbacks, I'll take that. One guy gets injured, I have another great quarterback. I don't agree with it. But anyway, I do agree with it. If you have 20,000 photos of somebody, that you're less likely to be like, yeah, I mean, we probably have a photo of that. Like, people go to their kids' events and just go, they never stop. They're watching it through the viewfinder.
Right.
You're not even experiencing it because you're thinking of these great. It's almost like the fireworks thing of like, people take photos and videos of these fireworks.
They're not experiencing fireworks.
And you're never going to go back and look at those.
No.
Nobody's going, guys, everybody come over tonight. We're going to cook out and we're going to watch the fireworks from last year. You go, it's August.
Yeah.
We remember it. And why would we do that? Are you a lunatic?
Yeah, but I think seeing people, it's different. It's different.
Are you saying that Sadie is a firework?
I'm saying, I mean,
are you saying you want to let her colors burst?
We have found quite a bit of stuff that we've enjoyed.
I'm not saying people
Why
should.
do you act like that?
I'm not trying to be that guy.
Matter?
I'm not trying to be that guy that doesn't have kids. It's like, nobody should take pictures of their kids. It's ruining their. Believe me, I'm not being that guy. I have a lot of photos of my dogs and my wife, and I mean, I take photos too. But 20,000, John, is a lot.
Why do you hate children? I think is the real.
We'll get into it. But first, John. No, I'm just kidding. That won't be a sponsor.
It's not time.
An ad for our. That would be a great ad segue. You know who hates children?
Sponsors. No, it's been. I'm trying to think of how many Johnny and John photos are going to be up there.
Yeah, it's
So there's this one.
We've been on stage many, many times together.
If you were going to pick the photos of us,
do
you have any in mind? I'll see if they're the same ones I'm thinking of.
The photo shoot we did for the band that Becky Finley did for us.
Yeah.
And those were great. And, you know, we were in that era of everybody did this, but it was like, you look so surly.
Right.
Because they're trying to look cool. And you just look depressed.
An angry Christian band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to look edgy. So I had my jawline just like.
Yeah, you did look mad.
Yeah.
Like you looked, and it scared me a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe I was mad.
You scared away our success too.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't think that was me. I think that was.
No, I don't think it was you.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't think that was my face. It was just everything else about us. It wasn't the way I posed her photo. But yeah, we had this guitar. So this is my shiny, super shiny guitar. Yeah. In some of those photos. And it photographs really well because the way the light dances off of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like a mirror finish. And so I remember like a photo of that, and there's one where we're sitting underneath like some bridge or some like sewer pipe coming out of it. It's just very like earthy, gritty photo.
He was on UT campus, I think, right? Yeah.
And so I remember that photo for sure of the band.
I have that. I actually found other band photos that I'd not seen in a long time.
Yeah.
We didn't use them, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then I think I found a shot of you. We talked about this before, but when we're doing the Five Smooth Stones shoot with the vegetable soup, the God.
Yeah.
You're just looking at the camera. There's nothing on it. With like you had glasses with tape in the middle, and you're just making the funniest faces.
Yeah.
Like I may just
you have those on your hard drive?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, Johnny, I have.
I don't know.
I've been searching through the hard drive since we last spoke. I've done nothing hardly but go through.
Have you deleted any of these?
Hardly any. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is, you have them and you're going through them, but you're not going like, well, I got 3 of those, or I think we get it on that one, or wow, that one's embarrassing. I want it gone. You're like,
well, what would be the point? I mean, like,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm making a catalog from which we can search from.
From which we can search from?
Wait, from
too many froms.
For which?
From which we can search.
Why? I want me and you in the largest man-made hole that we've ever dug.
Oh, right.
Seen.
I remember that one for
That's
sure.
That's the 14-foot, 15-foot latrine we dug on the mountain in Panama.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
And then I want a Morton Chet. So Johnny and I used to do 2 characters for these videos we did every year. I was Chet Simpson. He was Mort Wellington.
Yeah.
And I have several. I found the raw footage of Morton Chet.
Oh, really?
Where we're up in
the unedited.
Yeah. Where we're up there and Andrew's shouting stuff at us and Jeffrey's like coming up on the lift outside the thing, you know.
Oh, wow.
But I have those. That's funny.
Yeah.
Just our funny stuff there. And yeah, a couple funny. Like I want the city song. We wrote a song for the city of Mount Juliet when they did a 10-year census.
Yeah. That was 2007.
Was it?
Yeah, 2008, 8 maybe?
I thought it was 10. Was it at the 10s?
Was it?
Maybe not.
No, if it was 2000, because I had been doing comedy then. I wasn't doing stand-up yet.
But we made fun of everything about the census, including their ugly yellow shirts.
Yeah.
And they loved it so much, they brought us into City Hall to perform it.
We wrote a parody to the theme of Cheers, and it was about, we got to know your name, instead of, you want to go where everybody knows your name.
So we got to know your name.
Yeah, and then we did it at church, and somebody saw it on our live stream, and they invited us to the city hall for their city hall, a council meeting to do that song.
Yeah.
And I think I remember starting it by saying like, hey, I would like before we start to announce my candidacy for mayor of Mount Juliet. And I thought it'd be really funny, and some people laughed nervously, and then one guy goes, well, I think that just broke every protocol or whatever. Like they were like seriously like put off by it.
Oh, wow.
Because I was like, all right, well, we're off on the right foot. I have upset the apple cart.
You know what I would kill for?
What's that?
A picture of that first half marathon.
Oh, right.
We don't have. I wonder if you have anything.
No. Well, back then we didn't have camera phones.
We didn't take pictures.
Yeah,
you can just carry a camera with you everywhere you went. Yeah, because the thing it's like up to 04, 05. All of a sudden the pictures just start multiplying, Johnny. So
it's maybe it's you think it's contributing to narcissism?
Yes.
Okay. Like your personal narcissism?
Oh yeah. I don't think I was meant to see myself this much.
Yeah, maybe that is it.
You know what I'm saying?
As far as like how we view ourselves, we're always aware of how we're being seen.
Yeah.
Because
I notice my flaws. I notice my crooked tooth.
It's like the opposite of Beauty and the Beast, because Beauty and the Beast, he took all the mirrors out.
Yeah.
We added mirrors, basically.
And we're still the Beast, Johnny.
Yeah.
Come on, want that though?
Whoa.
I think it just did.
You stab it with your steely knives, but you just can't kill the beast.
Guys, you can check out anytime you want. Sorry.
Hey, here's some stuff we want you to check out. A word from a few of our fine sponsors. That's how you do a segue, John.
Yes, it's true professionalism.
See?
For sure.
I was waiting for a moment.
Yeah.
And I used...
That was good.
Hotel California.
That was good.
Not a sponsor.
Hey, Johnny, it's about that time.
Oh.
It's my quote of the week segment. It's called They Talked About That. Nailed it.
Oh, yeah. Don't lose that take.
It's a little longer, but it's Dallas Willard. This really struck me. I can't remember where I shared this, but I asked you if it was already on the podcast, and you said no.
I don't remember. Not from the last few weeks, anyway.
Okay. He says, a contemporary word of Jesus' comparison of God's kind of love, agape, and what normally passes for love might be, quote, this is from Sermon on the Mount, what's so great if you love those who love you? Terrorists do that. And if that's all your love amounts to, God certainly is not involved. Or suppose you're friendly to, quote, our kind of people. So is the mafia. Matthew 5:46-47. Now reflect, has your heart gone out in generous blessing to someone who has insulted or humiliated you? Can you work without thought of gain for the well-being of someone who openly despises you, maybe who has told you to drop dead? Are you enthusiastically pulling for the success of someone competing with you for favor, position, or financial gain? That is what those possessed and permeated by God's kind of love find themselves doing. Mm. So, this is when, he says, so what if you love your family? Then the wicked do that, right? And so he's just saying, let's put it into modern terms, the mafia or terrorists or whomever. I think that there's a lot of talk right now about what loving your neighbor, means. We talked about that, I think, a few weeks back. But I think once again, he's going into the heart of how do you evaluate the love of Christ versus the love of the world? Because I do believe we all have this inherited part of our being, whether we believe in God or confess Jesus as Lord or any of those things. We have this inherited nature from God that expects good things, and we somehow still stay in general within some sort of nuclear circle of relationships, right? Uh-huh. And so he's saying, and I think we forget this, that the love of Christ is actually really radical and profound. Yeah. And it can be, and Jesus was not ambiguous about this. I mean, I think we really are acting very confused sometimes.
Yeah, we're playing the fool.
Yeah. Like, this is like almost all he talked about. Yeah. Like, this is the main thing.
Yeah. He was like, it's good to have your circles, and this extends outside of your circles. Right. If it's really real, it's going to extend outside of your circles.
Yeah. And I've told the church on plenty of occasions, like, the thing that makes someone who believes in Jesus different, is supposed to make us different than the rest of the world, is the way we love our enemies. It's the way that we love others as Christ loves us, and we were his enemies. I mean, this is the scripture. So you take all the things. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, all those things. Love one another as I have loved you. Love and bless your enemies, right? Pray for them who spitefully use you and persecute you. You put these things together. Don't just think of them as, just one-offs or isolated statements, proverbial statements of a wise man. Right. And understand that these are the bases of the theology. And I hate to use that sort of cryptic term about it because it takes all the life out of it. This is the basis of the life in Christ. That think about, Jesus did all of that. He loved God with everything he had. He loved us more than he loved himself. Then he loved us as the Father loved him, which is what he was passing on to the disciples. He said, love each other as I've loved you. And then he loved his enemies to the point of forgiving them on the cross. And I think that when we say the gospel's wrapped up in love, or you can't have love, the gospel without love, we're usually talking about an earthly definition. Mm-hmm. And Jesus' was an earthly definition as well, because the kingdom of God came to earth. But we're not thinking of it in terms of the way that he said it. And so it's easy to go, oh, yeah, you're just sure love people. But as long as I love my family, right, as long as I love those in my circle. And yes, I don't want to wish harm on people, but. And so I think the point of all this is you can't do this. There's a reason that we default back to the worldly love. Yeah. Because you can't do this unless, as he said, you're being possessed and permeated by God's kind of love inside of you. Something is being transformed or being formed into something different. Yeah. And so I just, for me, man, I ask that question, has my heart gone out in generous blessing to someone who has insulted or humiliated me? And I love that. Has my heart gone out? Yeah. Like, there was someone today I thought of, and I thought, my heart is not in the best place towards that person, but in Christ, right, the Spirit reminds me that I can bless them, pray for good things for them, that I don't have to sit here in the justice of it all, because I could be right in the equation, but being right before God.
Is this person in the room with you?
There may be a green light shining on them right now.
Oh, boy. No, but I agree with you about the first part about if you only love people that love you, that's not what we're talking about. Like, it's important to make that distinction because, like Norm Macdonald, who's on my Mount Rushmore of comedians, I think he's just one of the best ever. And but he had a special called Hitler's Dog, and it was basically like even Hitler's dog loved him. Hitler had a dog that loved him. You know what I'm saying? Like, this idea of just like things that we don't think are normal, that like evil people had they have family that goes, well, if you knew Hitler like I know Hitler, you know what people. Right. So, but our love is in danger if we're not careful of just being super transactional. And it's like, yeah, I love you to the point that you inconvenience me. And then that love is very conditional. And so that's not real. Yeah. That's just like you said, that's just an earthly version. And and it has these limitations that cause suffering, basically. When they reach their limitations, that's where the suffering takes over. Yeah. And so, But like, I think about myself, like you said, like I have people that I'm maybe at odds with or have certain ways of thinking about them, but am I praying for them? Am I extending my heart to them? It's hard. It's hard work. And that's a lot of people are not willing to put in that work.
But this is what's crazy. And I do say this a lot too over the years to the church. Whatever it is we think the work of being a Christ follower is, this is it. So whatever we're doing something else we consider to be hard work.
Yeah.
Right. We're working at something. If it's not this, then if at best we're not at the center of the bullseye.
Yeah.
We're somewhere on the outer rings of this thing. Like if for some reason, because I always tell them, like, look, if people want to know, just like the rich young ruler, what do I got to do, right? What do I got to do to get to heaven? What do I got to do?
Right.
And it's like, I always tell them, if you spend your life trying to be authentic and in confession and pursuing one another, because we're in a group together, and it's constant need to regroup and go, okay, well, guys, none of us texted this week.
Yeah.
What are we going to do this week now? You got to keep picking up from what feels like failure and keep going. Same thing, and I have to confess sins all the time of things I've been confessing my whole life, that I'm better, and then there's seasons I'm not. And above all, choosing to love someone else whenever I have all the reasons not to. If I do all of these things, it will keep me busy doing the right things. I won't have time to be elsewhere. And if I find I have ample time to be elsewhere around other quote unquote Christian pursuits that aren't at least built upon this, then I don't think I can do both. I think you have to choose. I can't be an angry, militant Christian and be doing this. Like I can't. There's no way you can do both of those things. And I have to decide every day. There are some days I feel like the angry militant Christian, right? But I think that's the life in Christ, is being called back to this. I want to, again, be permeated by God's kind of love. So anyway, just interesting, Dallas.
Well, I'm rooting for you. I think you can get there, but you're not there yet.
No.
And let's keep working.
Yeah.
John, let's do my segments. Let's start with Johnny's old jokes. We call it Joke About That. John, a man walks into the doctor's office with a hot dog in his ear and a stalk of celery up his nose and says, "Doc, what's wrong with me?" And the doctor says, "You're not eating properly." Let's move forward. This week in history, John.
Oh, that was quick.
We call it Talk About Then. John Albert Einstein was born.
Guys, you're not eating properly. Sorry, go ahead.
John Albert Einstein was born this week in 1879.
Wow.
He was a German-born American, Nobel-winning physicist and mathematician. What do you know about Einstein? When I say Einstein, what do you think immediately? Like, give me your
theory of relativity.
Theory of relativity. But what does that mean?
I have no idea.
Really? You don't even know?
Did he do string theory?
I don't know.
Wasn't
that who did string theory?
I think that was Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. No,
it was I don't know what string theory is, but yeah. I'll tell you what he did, John. He was a Nobel-winning physicist and mathematician. He developed the theory of relativity, so you're right about that. He also developed mass equivalence formula.
Oh, I use that a lot.
E equals mc squared.
Yeah, I do know that.
That's energy equals
mass times c squared.
Man, we're dumb people. We're going to get some letters from this one.
What is C? Circumference? That can't be right. No, because we're in a...
Mass... C... I don't know. By the age of 26... John, by the age of 26, think about how old you are and what you've accomplished.
Wow.
Let's just go there. I don't want to make this about you versus Einstein, but you're no Einstein.
No.
It's interesting that you call somebody Einstein when you mean they're a dummy.
Right.
Like it's always as a particular, like, okay, Einstein.
Where's your phone, Einstein?
I think that's a Gaffigan bit. Okay, by the age of 26, he had published 4 groundbreaking papers. Wow. Photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, which I don't know what that is either, special relativity, and the equivalence of mass and energy. He would go on to publish more than 300 scientific papers. He was visiting I didn't know this about it, but I guess it makes sense. He was visiting the U.S. when Adolf Hitler came to power in 1933. Being Jewish, he did not want to return to Germany, and so that's why eventually he became a U.S. citizen.
That was a well-timed trip.
Yeah, buddy. His quote, this is a quote from him. There are many quotes, obviously, of Einstein. I've never heard this one, so I thought I would include it. Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. That's great. That's almost like Twain. That's kind of, it's like if Twain was Einstein.
Yeah, I always, when I think of Einstein, think about, I haven't researched this, but everyone always says that like he did really poorly in school as a kid in like grade school and was considered almost
I think
like
that was a myth, right? I think that was a myth.
Almost like he was neurodivergent and
maybe. Yeah. And I think that's a myth too, because I think that I've read that before, and then that's true. He had great grades, and then I've seen it with Jordan too, right? Like Michael Jordan, like he got cut from his high school team, and that's when he was like blah blah blah. And I've heard that was like it's a very exaggerated story, because he still played on like his junior high team. He just didn't get to play varsity in his 9th grade year or something like that.
It says Albert Einstein did struggle in school, particularly with rigid curriculums.
Okay,
he dropped out at 15. And decided to educate himself. At 16, he took a college entrance exam, passing math and science, but failing language and history.
Wow.
Despite rumors, Einstein never failed math. That's what you were probably hearing.
Okay,
He was a brilliant mathematician and excelled in school from an early age. But he did drop out at 15.
He had that big noggin, and we can link brain size to intelligence or intelligence quotient now.
Really?
There are studies about that, where like, pea brain, that really is the thing. Like people with huge brains generally have propensity, it's not guaranteed, but propensity to be smarter.
Well, they have like a dearth of knowledge. That's what you're saying.
That's what you
see previous episodes if you're a new listener.
John, this week, 1994, the famous 1934 surgeon's photo, in quotes, reportedly taken by Colonel Robert Wilson of the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
It's called a hoax in a deathbed confession by Chris Sperling, who claimed he helped create the photo. So this guy, it's the one that kind of looks like a finger coming out of they call it the surgeon's photo. But in a deathbed confession, he was like, all right. But he carried it all the way.
Wow.
And he was part of that photo. And in 1994, but there are people who still believe, that's what's odd about today's culture is, you can admit it was a hoax, and there are still people who have sunk cost in the hoax.
Yeah.
That will be like, yeah, but what did he have to gain by admitting it? So we can't really even trust the guy who says that it was a lie now.
It was like he was dying.
Because I have so much invested in the lie.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Loch Ness Monster, don't go to Loch Ness Lake looking for it, because...
You know what loch means, right?
What?
Lake. That's what they call their lakes.
It's Lake Ness Lake?
Lake Ness. The Lake Ness.
I always thought it was just called Loch Ness Lake. Is this Loch Ness there? Is it not Loch Ness Lake?
I think it's just Loch Ness.
It's like a tongue twister.
So I'm saying our word is lake, they say loch.
But I've always heard Loch Ness Lake.
Really?
When
I've
people
never
talk
heard
about
that.
The Loch Ness Monster lives in the Loch Ness
that's
Lake.
what the Americans
He lives
would
in
say.
Loch Ness.
Yeah, he lives in Loch Ness, is my understanding.
I'm starting to not like this section of our show. John, this week, 1951, Hank Ketchum's comic strip Dennis the Menace debuts. It was based on his real-life son, Dennis Ketchum, who earned the nickname Dennis the Menace when he was 4 years old. This is kind of I included this because, like, let's say Sadie was a holy terror when she was a kid, and now you're like, okay,
Sadie from Hades or whatever.
Yeah, let's make a thing. Let's make a comic strip called Sadie from Hades.
Yeah.
Well, how would she feel about that?
Well, I guess if it paid for college.
That's true. But then she's known as that.
It's like Wendy.
Then she's got to walk around college and just be like, oh, this is Sadie from Hades. Look out.
Wendy is forever in pigtails on a sign.
Yeah.
As a girl with freckles and stuff.
But she also has a pretty nice house, I would say.
Probably so.
It's a good gig.
And good burgers. More people should do square burgers.
I agree. You get that extra little corners of the...
I don't know what we're thinking.
What about a round burger on a square bun? That's not as good.
Yeah, it'd be too much bread.
Yeah. It is too much bread.
You got to have an equal distribution.
Or unequal beef-wise.
Yes,
you want
I
the
could
beef
take
to be
extra
more.
beef. Yeah.
We're going to fix it.
Good thoughts.
John, this week, the first fireside chat happened. What year? Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
I know who it was. Hold on. First fireside chat, I'm going to call 1931.
33. Do you know how many days after taking office it was?
Oh, he wasn't elected till 33?
Well, it just says 8 days after taking office he did this.
Oh, my bad.
The first fireside chat. Here's why. This is interesting.
Hoover was still
Especially
in
given
31?
the climate of media. Roosevelt felt that the fledgling new medium of radio would help him counter the conservative bias of newspapers at the time.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that he thought this radio could help me kind of level the playing field, because the papers had gotten so conservative, because they're probably run by all rich people. I mean, that's the thing. People used to engage in these wars back and forth. Because I own the paper, I can spread misinformation about you and disinformation, and then you fight back in your paper with your editorials. I'm glad we're beyond that.
I tell you, polemics is like at the root of American history in terms of
we need
narrative.
That. Yeah, it is, and we need that. It's to your point about our circles and loving people outside of our circles. Those circles serve some function in our broken minds.
Yeah.
To know who's in and who's out. We need to other people.
Yeah.
We need to otherize them.
Right.
So that we can feel superior. There's something in us that needs to do that. And I think media and, like you said, polemics, it serves that role. And I don't know why, but it just shows like we're broken, that we need it. That we need to go like, not only am I right, let me tell you who's wrong.
Yeah.
And this further proves how right. Let me go dunk on them for a minute. And you go, but why do I need that? Why do we spend our time looking for that? Anyway, John, it is fun. Finally, easy too. Finally, John, this week, 1912, the Girl Scouts was founded, originally called American Girl Guides, which I did not know.
That's a good change.
It's founded by Juliet Gordon Juliet Gordon Lowe. The name was later changed to Girl Scouts. And the reason I included this is I wanted to ask you, what do you consider the definitive Girl Scout cookie? Do you stay away?
Samoas or Thin Mints.
Samoa's the peanut butter one, right?
No.
Oh. That's a tag along.
It's like it's got like coconut in it, I think.
Some people don't like coconut. People feel very strongly about coconut.
And I don't understand. Like, if you don't like coconut, what are you doing with your life?
The shavings, I think people feel like, is this just like a pile of fingernail clippings? It just feels weird. People don't like that texture of the shavings.
But once you know that it came out of a coconut, then you should get past that.
And not fingernails.
Right, not fingernails. Yeah. That's like saying potato chips. If you think of anything crunchy that's nasty, you can't eat potato chips? No. Yeah. Like, I have a real thing. Andrew hates coconut, and I can't, although he'll eat coconut shrimp.
Right.
I was like, dude, guys, no, if you don't want coconut at its best, at its worst, then you can't have it at its best. I
think coconut shrimp is coconut at its best. Yeah. Although coconut cream pie, pretty good. Or a coconut cake.
Oh, yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, I'm like the Will Rogers of coconut. I've never met one I didn't like. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Well, I'm a Thin Mints guy. I like them cold though.
Yeah, Thin Mint out of the freezer is pretty good.
Or in the freezer, yeah.
Yeah,
it's good, man. A sleeve. Like a sleeve.
They go down fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's out of control.
You know, my investment guy always says that the market goes down on an elevator, but up on an escalator. And I think that's true for my weight gain and loss as well.
Interesting.
Except I go up on the escalator. Sorry. Yeah. On the wait. I go up fast and down slow. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So the sleeve of Thin Mints, that'll be like 2 weeks of running.
John, as we wrap the show, I'd like to say you got a real way with words. And if you want to learn more about John's writing, go to johndriver.com.
Yeah. Sorry,
John,
guys.
how would you learn more about the show in general? Like listen to other episodes and such.
Talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
You can click on the upper right-hand link, get ad-free content if you support the show. We love our supporters. If you want to send us a message, send that to hello at talkaboutthatpodcast.com. An echo, did you hear it?
Hello.
Well, I thought it was going to clap back. Hello at talkaboutthatpodcast.com. My new tour dates are going up every day. JonnieW.com, JonnieW.com, and tickets are available. And I just came back from a great run. We did a couple of comedy clubs. We did a fundraiser event. And then I did like a church event. It was just a great all-around cool weekend. A lot of miles, though. Yeah. At one point, we went from Port Charlotte, Florida, and did a 6 a.m. flight to Tulsa, Oklahoma, which I don't recommend doing that to your wife. Yeah. She's been along for the ride on these, and she's really getting like
she's getting the
full experience of like, oh, you did this by yourself? I go, yeah, can you imagine? And she's like, no.
Yeah, I've been up with you at 4 before or 3:30 to go, and it's not fun. I couldn't do it all the time.
But we did it, and we told the jokes, and we got back, and there's more dates on the old calendar, and we're adding new dates all the time, and we'd love to see you at a live show.
If you'd like to go on the road with Johnny and wake up at 4 o'clock, just send him a message.
By the way, radio, they do this thing called a tease, and your escalator talk, there's a tease for next week, so tune in next week for a little escalator. Might make This Week in History. It might make a little, and it might even make Johnny's old jokes.
Oh wow, here we go.
It might be a little combo.
You're gonna want to listen, guys.
A hybrid of the two.
I can't wait.
We'll blend the two theme songs.
I wait with bated breath.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Hey guys, thanks for the time you gave us today. We appreciate it. Let's do it again next week. You're on.
Talk about that.